One of the biggest, if not the biggest theme within the ascension journey is that of dismantling the programming that we have taken on during this human experience, all the way from childhood. Programming is a belief about ourselves that we have bought into, more often than not based on someone else's perception of reality, what they believe, what they have projected onto another individual. And an individual has believed this, taken it on as their own, and this is run as a program. And very often this is unconscious. So an individual within their reality experience is unconsciously running a program, a belief system that is directing their way of life. And now this plays a huge part in how an individual sees their reality experience. The programming will be riddled with lies. Yes, there will be some truth mixed with deception, trickery, and lies. And an individual will take this on and believe it. And this is why an individual will believe a lie about themselves, that they are not capable, that they are unworthy, that they are not going to achieve anything in their life, that this is the way that things are. And that is the solid truth. And there is, in essence, only one way to go about things. This is an individual's reality that has been projected onto another, that has been taken on by the other individual. And now an individual, in essence, is not being themselves. They are living someone else's perception of reality, someone else's life. From childhood, moving through life, if you think about those closest to us, very often we will see them as superior in some way. It can be a father figure, a mother figure, it can be an aunt, it can be a teacher during our early stages of school. Someone who is more knowing than the child will teach the child. And this is based on an individual's individual experience. And through life, and often through the negativity and density and through a lot of traumatic experiences that an individual will go through, they will see through their own window of reality how things work based on their individual experience, based on very often their disconnection to source, and will project the disconnection to source onto another, because it can feel very lonely within this reality experience. And to have someone else believe something that is true for an individual as well together will, in essence, afford the individual the sensation or the understanding that they are not alone in their reality experience. So this is mixed with lies that are not true for the other individual, but also with some truth. This is where the trickery comes in. And this programming unconsciously runs an individual's life. So without knowing it, they are going about certain things, acting in certain ways, possessing unconscious personality traits that have absolutely nothing to do with them. And this is why an individual is riddled in self-doubt and also creates a reality experience of limitation, where they are limited in what they believe they can accomplish. They are limited in what they believe they can experience in terms of what they would prefer to experience within their reality. It can be very challenging to dismantle this programming, and it happens naturally. First of all, with an intention to dismantle all that is not truth for the self, out of alignment with the light, that is acting as resistance to an individual shifting into a reality experience that is in alignment with their truth, that is limitless in nature. When we go through the awakening process, when we go through these DNA activations, when we go through the chakra energy center activations, The programming will also, at times, connected to traumatic events, and something that has been perpetuated. When we perpetuate something, we accumulate that thing. We'll accumulate density within our physical form. So we have programming residing as density within the chakra energy centers, which is restricting the flow of energy from the root all the way up through the crown. And this is our connection to source, is the flow of energy from the root all the way through the crown chakra energy center, connection to source, to all that is. So through this process, that is why very often it is uncomfortable, because we go through purge stages where we are releasing that energy, and it can manifest in many ways, which we will call ascension symptoms. It can be physical, mental, and emotional. This is the energy leaving. And when the energy leaves, that is residing as programming, it will in essence flare up into one's reality experience. And we will all of a sudden very often go into overwhelm, because all of these past memories, because the energy is connected to that memory, its intelligence, all of those past memories associated to that energy will flare up and come into our conscious awareness. And this is a part of the process, and it is necessary to just be aware of it, to see it, to tune into the energy. And like I always speak about, there's a wealth of information in there that is a part of, like I would say, our life experience is our university degree, is our master's degree. Every single thing, every experience, no matter how dark or light it is a part of the grand puzzle in the grand scheme of things. So this will flare up, and all of a sudden we will notice that we'll go into overwhelm. It will be uncomfortable. We'll tap into these past experiences. When this happens, understand that it is showing you where you are lying to yourself. The program is revealing itself to you. And this happens at stages. For one to, in one moment, release all the programming that they have taken on during this incarnation, it would be too overwhelming. That's why it happens in stages. When we need to know something, that thing will reveal itself and be known to an individual. So, during the awakening process, it's from the prison we have created for ourselves, that we have allowed others, in essence, with this programming, to dictate what our reality is, who we are. Meanwhile, those things have nothing to do with us. But we believed it, so we have created it, and now it has been, in the past, up until this point in time, ours. We have believed it's belonged to us. That is why the power of belief is so powerful. If you think about what's happening, and this is connected to what I'm speaking about now, on the world stage at present, anything that flows through the mainstream media, any form of mass advertising, it's an individual's one idea that they share through major media outlets, where thousands, millions, and millions of people listen to this. It can be a lie. There can be some truth mixed with a lie, like I speak about. Now, think about the power of a million or millions of individuals believing a lie. When that is done with 1 million people, with that amount of individuals believing something that is not true to be true, that thing becomes true. Because in essence, through that narrative, they are creating this whole reality where individuals are buying into. And it will be real. It will be true for those individuals. And thus it is created. So this is same on an individual level. The power of our belief systems. If we believe something to be true, wholeheartedly, that thing will be true. Even when it is a lie. Where it is not truth. It's complete absolute nonsense. If we believe it, it will be true for us. Then everything within our incarnation, our experience, will be coupled in with that belief, with that lie. And this is when we are living out of alignment with our truth. This is when an individual has an unpleasant experience. The unpleasant nature, the uncomfortable nature of one's experiences with people, places, and things that they don't prefer, but they do it anyway because they believe that is the only way, because they were told once upon a time for this to be true, is uncomfortable. It's in a job that they don't want. It's in relationships that they don't prefer. It's in a location that they would prefer not to reside at. It's a reality of lack, where individuals are battling, and this was a big theme for me. I went through quite a few years of living in lack, where I didn't know how I was going to make it to the end of the month. I didn't know at times. It did get to that stage where I'm sure many individuals watching this have been there, where my next meal for a few years, that did happen. I created that reality. I believed a lie about myself that was projected onto me by another. There were many individuals. You'll see that there are cycles, that many individuals will play this role. And I created it. I came from abundance in my younger years, early working years, to sliding down, in essence, the corporate ladder, earning less and less, where I used to be very abundant, doing very, very well. I believed a lie. I created my own reality based on that. I created my own limitation. I created lack of abundance, and I got to experience that. There's a gift in this because I got to go through that experience, and I learned a lot. So nothing that ever happens is in essence wrong or out of place. It is a part of the design. The programming, in essence, through this journey of self-mastery was supposed to be there. The density was supposed to be there. The higher self aspect allowed for it to happen because there was an experience that needed to play out. So not to think of it as being wrong and those 5 years of my life or that year of my life is out of place and wrong, not supposed to be there. No, it is important. It was a great teacher. But through awakening, by choosing the self, understanding that we have been living a lie, we untangle the programming. And when we untangle it, we pick it apart, we see it, we see all the details within that. Because with details, with understanding, there is knowing, and with that, we release it. And all we really need to do, in essence, very often, not always, but often, is just to understand, wow, that thing that happened, that lie that I believed about myself is a lie, and I can see how it has affected me through this experience. And I no longer choose to buy into that because I see it for what it is. And that thing used to be 10 years ago, 5 years ago, unconscious. I didn't see it. I wasn't aware of it. No wonder why I didn't get a promotion. No wonder why I wasn't in a relationship that was based on light, on that which is in alignment, where two individuals choose to love the self and one another, in lack, in discord, disconnection. I see where it stems from. And it can be uncomfortable when all these past memories flare up, when the programming shows itself. But this is a part of the process from becoming that which is in the 3D paradigm to 5D consciousness, which is limitless, where anything is possible if in service, when acting in alignment. So we move from doing things a certain way with that limitation. This is the way that things are done. This is the process. This is how it has been done. No, we say no to that. And we say that to which brings us great joy and bliss. That is energizing in nature. The connection in itself, when we're in alignment, is energizing. So when we do something that we love, what we would call a job now, in 5D consciousness, it should be energizing. It's not work. It's a part of our unique creative frequency expression. It's creative, it's expansive, it's energizing, it's in alignment. And to get there, we need to allow for the process of the programming that has acted as resistance to the limitless reality that we would prefer to experience, to unravel, untangle itself, to be seen, and to be released. And it's a process, and will be shown more and more. Knowing that those individuals responsible, what we'd call responsible, tied to the programming that has been running unconsciously, are our greatest teachers. Because I always say this, there is no ascended master or anybody, you can look at it as someone who's achieved self-mastery on the earth plane, dating back since the beginning of time, who hasn't been through a deep, dark night of the soul, through a crucifixion, through severe abuse, through intense pain and suffering, through that darkness, that pitch black. There is not one. They have all done it. Because it is a part of the mastery, it is afforded, it is allowed for self-mastery to take place. Without that, there would be no such thing as self-mastery. It would be just the norm. It would be another world, another reality experience. That's why we signed up to be here, is through the great pain and suffering. It is a triumph of the human spirit, all on its own, because no one's going to do it for you. From an awakened perspective, we understand everyone and everything as a teacher, so we can withdraw information, we can learn a lot. But in essence, we do it ourselves. It's a choice. That's the gift of free will. That is self-mastery. That's the design. So, over the last few weeks, this would have been for years for some of you. The energy did ramp up. It's ramped up. And the mental body, the mental faculties, is always a player because they're connected to our emotions. All of them are connected. Our physicality, our emotions, our mental faculties, the mental body. So see what shows up, what has shown up. Understand that it was a great servant, but it is time, if you would like to let that thing go because it's acting as resistance. This is when we shift into completely different versions of us that no longer has that programming. And this is when we completely change our reality experience altogether from the limitations, to the limitless nature. And that what is blissful, that which is expansive, that which is in service to everyone and everything, in providing that frequency platform of 5D. This is New Earth. That is the Great Awakening. Thanks everyone. Have a magic week moving forward. Cheers.